My heart is in.
Alright, what's up, YouTube? This is BoxingWave. I'm doing another Erislandy Lara video. Yes, it's another one. I'm doing another one. All right, now I'm responding to my boy 78 Sports TV. I seen him make a video saying that they should make the fight happen between Lara and Golovkin, and I wanted to respond to him and just respond to people in general and just tell you how I feel about it. I made a video on this before, like over a year ago, when when Lara had first called Golovkin out. You know, Lara called him out before. You know, he was saying like, you know, listen, I'm the most feared in my division. You the most feared in your division. At this time, Lara didn't even fight Canelo yet. You know, Lara had beaten. He had came off a dominant performance against Austin Trout. You know, he beat Angulo, and you know, Golovkin was still this. This was I think this was around the time before Golovkin had faced, or Golovkin's father had passed away, and this was before the rumors and everything where they were trying to get the Chavez Jr. fight to happen, all right? So Golovkin was already on his run somewhat. Maybe this was probably after the Curtis Stevens fight. And, you know, people were talking about it. You know, let's fight. You know, Lara called them out and people were talking about it. And, you know, a lot of people on Team Golovkin felt that the fight was unnecessary. And at that point, a lot of people questioned whether or not Golovkin could beat a slick fighter, you know, a slick Cuban school fighter like Erislandy Lara. So now, where it's the Willie Monroe Jr. fight passed, Golovkin dominated Monroe, and once again, Lara's calling out Golovkin, okay? And you know what? People actually want to see this fight. You know, shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation, because I seen him do a couple interviews with Abel Sanchez and Team Golovkin asking about Lara. And they seem to be a bit annoyed about it. Like, you can tell a lot of people ask them about this fight because every time Lara says something, I'm sure they get swarmed by media about, hey, what do you think about fighting Erislandy Lara? Because technically Lara's the only one that's been calling Golovkin out outside of Andre Ward. Andre Ward is a little different because Andre Ward is in a heavier weight division. Okay, even though Golovkin has said at one point that he will fight at 168, you know, he'll fight Carl Froch, he'll fight anyone in between those divisions. But when it came to Ward, he was like, nah, he wasn't ready to fight Ward. Fine. But outside of that, Erislandy Lara is the only one that's consistently trying to get in the ring with this guy, you know, and which is kind of crazy to me because no one really wants to fight Golovkin. No one at 160 wants to fight him. People say, oh, Golovkin should fight. He needs to fight someone that's really going to test him. He needs to fight someone like Peter Quillen. Well, if Peter Quillen don't want to fight the man, how are we going to get the fight? You know, if Cotto doesn't want to fight the guy, how are we going to get the fight? So anyway, here comes Erislandy Lara. Now, this is how I feel about it. I think they should take the fight. If they're going to fight, just like 78 Sports TV said, if they're going to fight 4 times, 5 times a year, there's no reason why he shouldn't squeeze Lara in there, you know, just to prove a point, just to silence people that's like, and it's not really people like me, because I am a big Lara fan, but this is not like something I feel like Golovkin has to do. You know, I would like to see it, but it's not something that I'm like holding against Golovkin. Now, if the guy, and this is the one man that seems to not shut his mouth, why not take the fight? You know, if Lara, most people would think Golovkin would win that fight. Why don't you just shut it down and completely eliminate any talk? Be the one that actually beat Lara with no debating. You know, beat Lara with have no debate. Everything with Canelo and Paul Williams and Vanes Monterosian and Carlos, all these other fights that Lara had, you can sit here and make the argument that Lara never lost a fight. You know, no one's ever clearly beaten Erislandy Lara. If Golovkin fights him and knocks Lara out, then there's no debating no more about any of that stuff, okay? And then it's a win-win. It's not really a win-win for Golovkin because, you know, it's not really a win. I want to say it isn't a win, but for the people, the naysayers out there, the people that question his ability, and there's plenty of people that still do. If you beat Lara in dominant fashion, it will definitely gain respect for the boxing guys, the real true boxing fans, the diehards that question your ability, by beating Lara. Some will argue it won't, but I think it will. To some people's eyes, it will. Okay, especially because it's a guy that's consistently calling you out. The only guy that's consistently calling you out. Why not fight him and squeeze him in your schedule? If you fought Willie Monroe, what did Willie have over Erislandy Lara? Was he more well known than Lara? No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Okay, he's bigger than Lara. He might even be faster than Lara, but is he more experienced than Lara? No. Did he fight better fighters leading up to this fight than Lara? No. Some people will say that Lara is the more skilled fighter between the two. I believe he is. I just think Willie is a bigger guy. He's been fighting naturally at 160. I mean, he's obviously the bigger guy. It's facts. Okay? But why not make the fight happen? Now, if the fight were to happen, Lara's my dude, but I don't think he could beat Golovkin. I just don't think he can do it. All right? I think Golovkin in that left hook and him cutting off the ring, he does everything Angulo did and better. Okay, Angulo gave Lara hell, knocked him down twice, and it was with left hooks. What did we see Willie get knocked down with in the second round? Okay, a left hook. And I'm not saying Willie's the same exact fighter, because there's certain things that Lara do. I think Lara don't have a lot of weapons, and he's not good with fighting in the pocket. But one thing the things that Lara do, he doesn't, he perfected his craft. Him and rigging down, those guys, what they do, they don't have a lot of weapons, but everything they do, they perfected it. Lara's straight hand, his straight left hand is lethal. His timing, everything is great. Defensively, I think he's better than Willie. But you're fighting against a guy that is a huge puncher, that cuts off the ring better than Angulo, has more power than Angulo, is a better boxer, has a better jab than Angulo, okay? A lot harder. He's defensively better, all right? I know Golovkin get hit in the head a lot, like that fourth round against Willie, but those first two rounds, he dominated Willie. He was outboxing Willie. When we're talking boxing, he was outboxing Willie Monroe Jr., okay? It's not that easy with Golovkin. It's not as easy as people say. People want to discredit him and his skills and all that, say he's not that good. Yo, this guy knows when to turn it up. And that's the point I've always made about Golovkin. Him and Kovalev, they know when to turn it up. Okay? I don't think Lara would win the fight. I don't believe he would. All right? I would like it because he's like my favorite fighter, but outside of Floyd and Cotto, but I don't think he would win the fight. I just don't personally think he would. But I would love to see the match. That has nothing to do with me wanting to see the match. I think the fight should happen. If Golovkin can't get in the ring with Cotto and Quillen and all the guys that people want to see, why not squeeze Lara in there? He's calling you out. Shut his mouth, shut him down, and keep it moving. Keep it moving. So that's how I feel about it. If you think Golovkin is that good, you shouldn't think that Lara's. If you're a Golovkin fan, you shouldn't think Lara is really a threat to him. If you're that positive that Golovkin is that great of a fighter, you should be able to back Golovkin and say, you know what, take the fight. When Abel Sanchez tried to make an argument about why Golovkin shouldn't fight Lara is because he's not big enough. Well, look at Golovkin's track record and look at who he's faced. He hasn't fought any big-name opponents. He hasn't. At least Lara has been on a pay-per-view fighting Canelo Alvarez. Okay, he's been on a pay-per-view. We can at least say that. He fought Canelo. And that's another thing. Canelo fought him. So, Canelo fought him, and a lot of people feel that Canelo lost that fight. He got a win for that fight. Why don't you go in there? If you want to fight with Canelo, go in there, beat Lara up, knock him out, and then that will help you build a fight with Canelo. Like, people will say, Canelo's in here, Canelo can't beat Golovkin because Golovkin beat Lara way better than he. You know how fans make all these arguments. So that's even more of a reason to fight Lara. All right. So of course I want Golovkin to fight all these other guys at 160 more so. But I mean, why not make this fight happen? If the guy is willing to go up and fight you, why not make it happen? All right. I don't think Lara is that dangerous of a fighter to say just skip him altogether, especially for Golovkin. Their styles seem to favor each other in certain aspects. You know, their styles. You know, Lara is a good defensive fighter. He's great at lateral movement, and he sticks to his plan. Whereas Willie Monroe, as soon as the pressure came on to him early, he kind of folded. You know, Lara has more experience, so he'll know what to do in these situations. But we've seen Lara fight someone that put the pressure on him, like when Angulo did, all right, and cut off the ring well against him. Golovkin does that even much better, all right, and I think he would be a harder fight than the Angulo fight. So anyway, let me hear what you guys think. Who would win the fight? Should the fight even happen? You know, just let me know your opinions and everything, and see you on the next video.